I feel like a lot of the questions that people want to know about men and their relationships with men wouldn't exist if women could get it through their brain that men communicate in power. Any exchange you have with any man is an attempt by him to gain power in the situation or have power over you in some way. This is why men like younger women. This is why men don't date women who have the same amount of money as them. This is why men don't date women who have similar educations to them. This is why men like shorter women, smaller women, women that are easier to have physical dominance over. You're like, oh, why did he pursue me for so long? And then once he finally got me, he played me because he had to right that power dynamic. Keep that in mind and their behavior will confuse you much less. So my other post touched on the fact that if you have a successful relationship with a man, it is because he has evaluated that relationship and determined that he's the one with the power. Those relationships are always going to go smoothly. So when we look at interracial relationships that are the most successful, they happen between white men and black women. They have the lowest divorce rates of any other interracial couple. My theory behind why that is goes back to social gender dynamic theory in heterosexual relationships, which is if the man can look at the dynamic and realize that he has more power than the woman, that relationship is always going to go smoothly and he's always going to treat her well because he knows that she understands that she's the disempowered one. And I think that this is why relationships with white men and black women are so successful, because there is no misunderstanding the fact that he has much more social power than she could ever have. Because he has evaluated that relationship and determined that he's the one with the power. Those relationships.
I agree with this thought. And might I add, in addition to that, both of these groups have shown as a group that they can be successful on their own without wielding the power of other people. So when they come together, it's power matched with power. Whereas white men have the social power and their advantage because they're white men, black women have the gift of survival and skills to survive. Because of that whole being forced to be an independent woman, when people walk out on them, black women have been forced to be everything for their households and not cry but suck it up and survive.